All right, seriously. I love being in love. Anybody else out there love being in love? Y'all don't love being in love. That was like, woo, I had a husband who hit me, ooh, but he was fine. No, I love being in love, and I have never been as in love as I was when my first year of marriage. Woo! Everything had meaning. When I cooked something, it wasn't enough to just cook it. Like, you know, because the black woman's like, I ain't gonna cook you crap. But it had to be heart-shaped. So I made cookies in a heart shape. I cut sandwiches in a heart shape. I cut steak in a heart shape. Don't try that, because you lose a lot of meat, and it looks like a piece of shit when you cook it, because all the fat is cut off of it. But you don't want to do that. But anyway, but I did it. I did it because I was in love. See? And my husband, and I loved calling him my husband. I was like, look, this is my husband. My husband would never think of giving me things in just one thing. He would always give it to me in multiples of 3. Y'all do with that what you want to do. But you heard me. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I was happy. Anyway, he gave me multiples of 3. Why? Because we dreamed of having triplets, because we didn't want to go to the hospital more than one time. My husband was money conscious, and so he was like, we're going to have 3 kids, we're going to have a one-time 3 children, 3 triplets. And it was beautiful. And we would never think of leaving the house, or God forbid, even the room, without playing the I love you game. Y'all know that game. I hope you do. I love you more than 100 times 100. I love you more than 1,000 times 1,000. We were disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, but I love that game. And so you can imagine how important Valentine's Day was. Our first Valentine's Day together as a married couple. And don't give me a challenge, because I'm a J, for all of y'all that know the Myers-Briggs, I'm a J. Don't give me a challenge, because I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to make it happen. And so Valentine's was on the calendar. 11 months I had to practice. I had to plan it. And so my beloved left for work, and I took the day off. And I waited until it was about time for him to come home. And I took a wonderful bubble bath to relax me. And I doused myself in Poem by Lancôme. That was his favorite perfume. And then I lit 33, get it, 33? 33 votive candles around our room, and 3 Nubian night incense cones, Nubian because he's African. By the way, if you want to be able to eat sugar and fat, you need you a Nigerian man, because he likes a little bit of fat. So it was all right. I was like, yeah. And he was like, whoa. Anyway, so 3 Nubian night incense cones around the room, and I put on Tariq Hassan's greatest belly dance hits. Why? Because belly dancing is freaking sexy. And I had been taking, secretly, belly dance classes. Why? Because I'm a J, and I was preparing for Valentine's Day. So I had it. I was like, woo! What? Work it, baby. Whoa. So, let me get back to my story. I got a little carried away there. So I put on Tariq Hassan's belly dance hits, greatest belly dance hits, and I waited for him. And when my beloved came up to my bedroom, I heard him stomp, stomp, and I was waiting for him. And when he opened the door, I was there in a burqa. Hey, y'all don't get it, but it was a burqa. Black from head to toe, nothing showing but my eyes, and my eyes were made up beautifully with these huge false eyelashes. I could barely see, everything was like sort of in a shroud. And I looked like a baby cow when I blinked. They're cute. And I was like, shling, shling, shling. And under the burqa, I was butt naked. Bring on Nigeria. So when my husband opened the door, he sees me backlit, burqa, butt naked, cow eyes, ready. Bam! And his eyes, seriously, he was like, oh, crap. Boko Haram? Is this some sort of ultra-conservative Muslim, feminist, terrorist plot that I've walked into? Honey, where you at? But then it dawned on him. He was like, oh, shit, y'all. She done something now. And when I saw that light come into his eyes, I started to dance for him. And I did a little hip roll here, a little shimmy there, woo! And a couple of hip thrusts. Just so there was no doubt about what was finna pop off up in this joint right now. And when the music crescendoed, so did I, and I took off in a well-timed twirling run. And I looked like a beautiful whirling dervish. And I felt fucking sexy. I was so hot. And I know I was hot, because when I stopped twirling, I looked. And that man was looking at me like I have never seen him look. In fact, I have never seen a man look at a woman like that before. And I shimmied up to him. And I said, do I make you hot? Whoa. And he opened his mouth to say something, but all he could say was, honey. And I was like, I know, baby. Am I making you hot? And he said, ooh, honey, you on fire. And it gave me a look that I did recognize. It was a look that said, I'm fixing to tear that tail up. We finna go. But I was not ready to relinquish my sexual power yet. And I was like, nigga, not yet, not yet, not yet, nigga, not yet. And I took off in a passion-induced shimmy. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that man chased me. That man chased me. And he said, honey, you're on fire, you're on fire. And I said, I know, baby, I'm on fire. Woo, woo, woo. And he tackled me. Mid-woo. And I was like, that's right, sweetheart. Yes, baby, use your hose. Use your hose to extinguish the fire. And from somewhere, there was a blanket over my head. And now, it was a change in the fantasy, but I was ready to go with it. I was like, I don't know, Copper. I'm not going easy. You better tie me up. And he kept patting me and patting me and patting me and patting me. Like I was Rodney King and he was Mark Furman. And I was like, tie me up, do it. And after a minute, I was ready for him to do me. And he still wasn't doing me. So I was like, book him, Daniel! And he said, honey, you are on fire. And I was like, oh crap, I'm on fire. Put it out, put it out, put it out. And I thought I would help him. remember from the Schoolhouse Rock, stop, drop, and roll. I was already down there, so I tried to roll, but he was on top of me, and he's wiry, but he's heavy. And so all I could do was rock from side to side with him on top of me. So I'm rocking, and he's patting. We went on like that for I have no idea how long. Finally, the patting stopped, and my husband gets up, and I crawl from under the blanket or whatever it was that he had placed on my head, and I take the burqa headdress off. And y'all know I was scared, because, you know, it may be wobbly, but it's mine, and I didn't want it to be all burned up, so I thought, oh, Lord, let me look. And I looked, and thankfully, I was unburned. But the burqa was gone, completely incinerated on the left side. And I sat down, and I looked around the room, and it was full of smoke. And there were burned burqa bits flying in a circle around the room. Right? And my husband was stomping around the room, murmuring loudly, burn that damn house down. And I thought, oh shit, I'm not burned. And that's when I saw the wall. And it was a wall we had just spent the whole weekend, the previous weekend painting. It was a wonderful time. And now it was singed and burned and ruined. And I just lost it, and I started crying out of absolute humiliation. And frankly, out of exhaustion. Because I know they want to tell you that burqas are perfect and it's not hot, but that shit is hot. And burn burqas, it's just hot. So I was exhausted and humiliated, I'm crying. And I look up, and I see my husband's feet in front of me. You know, he's Nigerian, so he's got those Nigerian pimp shoes that are sort of like curved. You can take the Nigerian out of Nigeria, but he's still Nigerian. He's still got them Nigerian pimp shoes on. Anyway, I see them Nigerian pimp shoes sitting in front of me. And I'm like, ah. And he says, horny. And I prepare myself for the inevitable lecture on the appropriate use of votive candles in an enclosed space. And I look up, and he's scowling down at me. I'm like, yeah, what you want, man? And he looks at me, and he says, I'm on fire. Woo! 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 And he falls down like a little giggling girl, and we roll around holding each other for a little while. And that is the best Valentine's Day ever. Thank you.